Josh, man, really happy with how your last week went. It's been a while since I've given you like a proper update, so I apologize for that. But getting on this one, 345 squat for a triple. I agree with you. It looked better than it may have felt, and that can happen, especially when we haven't necessarily touched a ton of heavyweight. Plus, I'm still keeping you under a fairly high volume drop. Like you're still doing eights, you're still doing tons of sets of fives, sets of six. Like when we start getting into just doing like tons of triples, tons of doubles, tons of singles, that kind of range, like five and under, your fatigue's not going to be as high. You're going to be a lot more accustomed to the heavy weight, and it's your RPE and how it necessarily feels are going to come more aligned. But I do agree with you. 345 looked like it probably could have been a 7. Though calling it an 8, it's a safe play. It's just RPE is based on how it felt. How it looks, I tend to move my point scale up and down 0.5. Like if it looks really good, and I thought it was an 8, I'll call it a 7.5 instead. Or if it looks really bad, I might call it an 8.5 instead, something like that. But again, squats looked really good. And then the 315 sets of 5. Yep, I am excited. Especially when you hit 3 sets of 5 and the final set was a 7. Oh, man. And then your bench was a little up and down this week. Like you hit a triple at 195, basically touch and go. Then you hit a double at 195, 2 count pause, substantially easier. Or actually, no, in terms of RPE, it would have been, you could have gotten a set of 5 with the 2 count. You could have gotten a set of basically 5 with the touch and go. So the difference between day 1 and 2 was you basically could add a long pause to every rep, and everything felt just as good. So I'm really excited with the 2 count. Like that was very impressive to me. Then the rep work on the week, like the 6s, everything's moving well. I kind of like I do see the head moving again. That could be laziness, like you said. It's the last couple sets. You're kind of tired. It's a long day. I don't blame you. One thing you may want to work on is opening up your T-spine. If your T-spine is really locked up, it's hard for you to be like this. And you tend to be more like this because it's really tight. And when that happens, when you're trying to arch, when the bar touches and you relax, instead of just like the chest coming down, the chest comes down, your head goes up. So you really want to open up the T-spine, maybe open up a little bit in the shoulders, get a little bit better shoulder mobility. I need to work on that too. My shoulders hurt. But benches looking good. Again, it's sort of the same kind of thing with squats where it's still relatively higher volume. So I'm not expecting you to be Superman and hit massive numbers right now. I was expecting you to plug on, get the work done, do what's necessary to make sure that you're able to keep going so we can just keep going. And then I had you do singles at 200. And based off the fact that you hit 195, I probably would have made you do like 210-ish around there. But you made those 200s look really good. And they were wrapless, which I wouldn't necessarily advocate if you're going to be using wraps in a meet. But they look comfortable. They look strong. I'm not going to really focus on that. I'm just going to focus on how like positioning was, how everything else was. And I thought they looked really good to me. Now we're going to move on to the deadlifts. Your obviously best lift. You had 435 for 4 at 8, which was a triple body weight. Congratulations for doing that for a set of 4. And projection on that is retarded. It's so big. I have another 66 that I'm currently coaching, and his deadlift is right around there. I am very excited to see the 66s at Provs. If you do go to Provs, I haven't really talked to you about that. I'm not 100% sure because those could be some of the biggest deadlifts in that weight class. I'm very excited. And again, we are a long ways out. I think 6 weeks to Central, so about 10 or 11 weeks till Provs, which gives you a ton of time to clean reps up, Work on the grip because you are using straps a lot. And yeah, want to mention, you talked a little bit about your back position. I really like it. I really like your back position. You have a nice, strong lumbar. It's nice and straight. That was one of the issues I had before. You had a curved lumbar. Now you have a very nice straight lumbar and a rounded upper back. I don't care about the rounding of the upper back in case I encourage it. I kind of encourage it. I really like a rounded upper back in a sumo because sumo tends to be really bad off the floor. Rounding your upper back tends to help you a little bit off the floor so you can get that bar going a little bit quicker, but you don't want to round it so much that your lockout really starts to suffer. And your reps here were looking clean. They were looking really clean. So you were mentioning like, oh, maybe I'll change up. I need to fix this. I need to fix that. Don't. Your back position is fucking amazing. Pardon my French there. Sorry. And then a little bit about the foot position, how it's kind of affecting your knee. You were saying you're getting a little bit of left knee pain, and it also looks like your left knee is a little bit internally rotated. And that's going to be more due to the fact that your right foot is like this, your left foot is like this, right? So if you can either shift like this or just bring this one out, however you want to fix that issue, just fix it. If it is due to a lack of external rotation in your left hip, work on that. Do a little bit of hip mobility in there. Go through some stretches. Do a little bit of rolling, or just actively shift your foot, tilt it a little bit more out. Because from the front view, it was quite obvious that your right foot was a lot more tilted out. Oh, fuck. I'm trying to think when next I'll be in Toronto, because then I can try to work on that with you quickly, but it won't be for a long time. I'm competing next weekend, and then the weekend after that, I'm out of town. Maybe 3 weeks. That would kind of suck, though, because that you might already have it fixed out by then. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling a little bit. Bottom line, your shit's looking really good. I love your squat.